It is astonishing to me how little respect that Dak Prescott is getting, not only from these two, but from around the league. It's just astonishing. It is a quarterback's game. It is the hardest position to play in all of sports. You said it. I've said it many times. He is playing it at the highest level, and he did from game number one when he played well enough to beat Eli Manning. He had two, we went over this earlier in the show, I don't want to do it again, but he had two early touchdown drops, one at the 2-yard line, one by Dez in the end zone. Measly Beasley and Dez. Those are 14 points that should have been cashed that wound up 3-3, and it cost him in a 20-19 game. He played well enough. And here's the point. Dak Prescott is unspectacular, so he's not capturing the imagination or the fancy of America's football fans. He doesn't do this. He doesn't have a signature this. He's not a quote machine after games. He just keeps making right decisions and avoiding mistakes. But when it's time to be clutch, he's as clutch as anybody has been so far in this NFL season. And I'm going to throw it out again. I know you don't have high respect for this statistic, but QBR, listen to this. Dak Prescott is leading the NFL in QBR by 3 points over the great Tom Brady. That's staggering to me that we are 12 games in. He's played 11 really good games and one not so good game against Minnesota, but with his legs, he made a couple of plays that helped them win the game. And his QBR wasn't bad at Minnesota, but it's been great against everybody else. And again, I'm just going to blow through this. He outperformed Eli Manning in the opening game, and then he went to Kirk Cousins, guy you love, and just crushed him in QBR at Washington, 88-63. He had a 99 against the Bears, no big deal. But then you thought that 49ers were going to cause him problems, and they did for a while. They fell behind 14-0, and Dak brought him back with an 85 QBR, which is extraordinarily high. Everybody said, Bengals, oh, it's going to be trouble they're going to take Zeke away. 88 QBR against the Bengals. He went up to Lambeau and outplayed the great Aaron Bleepin Rodgers, just crushed him in QBR. I've had to listen all year long, at least for the first 5 weeks, about how Carson Wentz was going to be better than Dak Prescott. Didn't we have that discussion early on? And that's all I heard from both of you.
No, I chose Dak. Go back and look at the video.
Not.
Yes, I did. Go look
Not
at the
early.
videotape.
Go check the tape.
Yeah.
The eye in the sky doesn't lie.
Yeah, we need to pull that out.
I don't know about that. I think
don't
you were
know
Carson.
about that either.
I
Pretty
think you were
sure.
Carson
Who had a
Wentz.
better
Because you were
QBR on
surprised
Thanksgiving?
by it.
Who had a better QBR on Thanksgiving?
Dak, 98-88. 98
That's
to
why
88.
we know that stat is flawed. A man throws for 449.
Yeah, and
3 touchdowns.
You know what?
And he has
he failed in
I
the
don't
red
even-
zone 3 times.
Like,
And
who's
Dak
put-
didn't fail in the red zone
Who puts
any
together
time.
the QBR? Like, who's evaluating that
It
stat?
doesn't
Genius.
matter.
I know. It doesn't matter because it works
People
for
who know
you.
football. But the point is, how about the Baltimore Ravens? And you had high respect for them going to Jerry World. I still have high respect for them. I think New England should fear this Baltimore team if it has to. It's going to get it on Monday night, but if it gets it in the postseason. And Dak Prescott had a 95 QBR against Baltimore. 27 of 36 for 301 and 3 touchdowns. Those are big-time numbers. I'm sorry. I'm always going to take the quarterback over the running back. And I love Zeke, and I love the offensive line. The quarterback is the trigger man. He's the one who has to avoid mistakes and make decisions. And that's all this kid has done all year long.
But when you look at the Baltimore numbers that he had, they were trying to stop Zeke. They held Zeke under 4 yards a carry. It was obvious what they were trying to do.
And who made him pay?
Which cleaned up coverages. Exactly. But without Zeke being the linchpin there, you wouldn't have had the other components. And look, I love the fact that Dak isn't flashy. I love that he studies. I love that he works hard. I love that he's done what he's done as a rookie, but he's been helped because of Zeke. So if you put Dak in Green Bay, if you would switch those quarterbacks on those teams, do you think he'd be able to do what Aaron Rodgers has done, even record-wise? Like the thing that's impressive.
Skip,
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
the thing that's impressive about Aaron Rodgers is everybody knows they have to pass, and he's still very effective. And
Time
is
out.
different.
Just a second.
With Zeke,
just a second, because the offensive line gets so much credit. You said they have 3 Pro Bowlers. Same guys played last year, And this team went 1-11 without Tony Romo, right? With Matt Castle and Brandon Whedon. 1-11.
Was
How do you
Ezekiel
explain?
Elliott on that team?
No, but
Okay, well, let's put both of them on that
but
team
they
and
had
see
a
what they were.
1,000-yard rusher on that team who was pretty good. I got you. I got
Zeke's
you.
at 1,200 right
No,
now.
I got it.
Yeah, he's at 1,200 with 12 touchdowns, and he's also really effective out of the backfield. I mean, it's a
Hey,
different animal that
what
you're dealing
what
with.
you're underestimating, Dak came in and changed the whole culture of the Dallas Cowboys. It was an underconfident team that looked upstairs like Jerry's going to screw it up, which you keep saying. That maybe he will before it's over. But all of a sudden, the defense got inspired by Dak Prescott. It's not very good. You know this. It's a starless defense. I love Rod Marinelli. But all of a sudden, the defense started saying, we got a chance with this kid because he's not going to screw it up the way Romo screwed it up, and he's going to keep us off the field by making third down decisions.
I think you're confusing inspiration with not having to be on the field as much. I mean, the
Okay,
defense
but-
doesn't have to play as much.
but you know what?
It's not inspired. They don't play as many reps.
Yeah, but in the red zone against Kirk Cousins, they rose and shone. They made plays against Kirk Cousins.
But do you think that they're having meetings and saying, we really got to do this for Dak?
I think they believe in him as their leader of somebody who took over the huddle in the locker room.
No, I understand that. I feel like you're giving Dak too much credit for changing the culture of the Cowboys. Do you think the culture was that flawed
Yeah,
in
I
Dallas?
do. I
And
do.
so he single-handedly, as a rookie, came in
I do.
and changed the culture of
Yeah.
that team?
Do you remember the team that went 12-4 in 2014 as Romo led the NFL in QBR? They had some disasters in there. They lost to Washington at home on a Monday night. They lost to Mark Sanchez and the Eagles on Thanksgiving. Remember, it was a nightmare game.
What did
Chip
Tony
Kelly?
Romo
But
do?
you've got
Huh? Terrible.
Okay, then. So,
Yeah.
but they still had DeMarco Murray. The Cowboys were great when they had DeMarco Murray, who rushed for 1848, and he was offensive player of the game. Romo hasn't been that good when there are certain guys, certain quarterbacks, that they can function without a running game. Now, they're still going to, at times, Tom Brady, you get Tom Brady, you get the Breezes, you get the guys, they don't need the dominant running game to have success.
Yeah.
If you think Dak Prescott is going to do what he's doing without Ezekiel Elliott, Skip, I'm sorry.